Welcome to the 25th video in the Secrets to Drawing video course brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com. In this video, we're going to continue our look at drawing the face and take a look at drawing the hair. Most people struggle with drawing hair. This is because they see the individual strands of hair, get confused, and don't see the form of the hair. In order to draw realistic hair, you must draw the form and let the value that you add create the illusion of texture. So that's what we're going to do in this demonstration. I've begun here by just drawing a shape of a face, and I've lightly outlined where my eyes, nose, and mouth would be. A common mistake people make is putting the hair right up against the top of the head. For most people, this is not the case. Your hair actually lifts off the top of your hair a bit. For people with thicker hair, this is accentuated more. In this case, I'm drawing a female's head of hair, and this person's hair comes off their head quite a bit. We'll want to understand where the hair ends, so we'll draw an outline to indicate it. Draw lightly at this stage and use several lines as you make your marks. This will help you make looser marks, which are more like real hair. We'll also need to determine how far down the front of the face the hair comes. We'll do this by drawing a few lines just like we did for the outline. Some people's hair will end close to the top of the head, while others will extend beyond the eyes. Some parts of the hair may overlap parts of the face. Be sure to be aware of this when you're drawing your face. In this stage of the drawing, I'm trying to figure out the shape of the hair. Once we've got the shape of the hair established, it's time to start looking at the light and dark areas. I'll begin with the dark areas. For most people, the dark areas will be in the part of the hair, if there is a part in the hair, and areas close to the sides of the face. This is because less light is allowed in these areas, so usually it's darker. As you're creating the shadow in the darker areas, be mindful of the fact that there also needs to be some highlighted areas, areas where the light is greatest on the subject. By combining the light and the dark areas, we'll create the illusion of form. As you add your shading to the hair, think about the directional lines that happen. These directional lines are called cross-contour lines. Be sure to add the value that exists in the hair in the direction of these lines. This will help further the illusion of form and help create the illusion of texture. By working the light and dark values and the contrast that exists between those two, we can create the illusion of the texture of the hair. In fact, the key to creating the illusion of texture lies in the contrast that's produced by the value. Here in this close-up we can see that contrast and see how the texture of the hair is starting to emerge. Be sure not to be too tight with the lines that you make. It's okay to be loose. It may appear that I am drawing every single strand of hair, but I'm not. I'm just concentrating on creating areas of value. The lines that I'm creating are there for the texture. I'll continue across the top portion of the hair, continuing to make linear marks to create the illusion of the texture of the hair. I'll also continue to create the contrast between the values in order to further that illusion of texture. It's important to notice where parts of the hair will overlap other parts of the hair. You want to create the illusion of space there as well. So by overlapping layers of hair on top of other layers, it'll create that illusion. Remember, the light areas and the areas you leave are just as important as the areas that you add value to. Drawing realistic hair does take a bit of patience, and it can be time-consuming. If you're having a hard time seeing the areas where the hair gets dark, where the hair gets lighter, you may try squinting at your reference or your subject. This will help you see the shapes of value so that you can be sure to include them in your hair. On the edges of the hair, be sure to let some stray hairs fly out in different directions. This will add to the realism. Here you can really see how layering chunks of hair can really create that illusion of depth and space. Now, since I've done the majority of this drawing with a regular HB pencil, it's time to go back and make some areas a little bit darker with a softer graphite pencil. Here I'm using a General's Layout pencil, which is about equivalent to about a 4B or 6B pencil. Adding these darker values will help my contrast pop a bit more and further the illusion of the texture of the hair. It doesn't matter what color the hair is that you're drawing. All hair will have a full range of value, so be sure to look for it when you're doing your drawing. And now, with a super sharpened HB pencil, I'll go back and accentuate some of the lines, and add a few more. Now my drawing is complete. If I'd like, I can go back and create a contrasting background to make the hair appear lighter. In the next video in the Secrets to Drawing series, we'll take a look at figure drawing.